Hi, this is Gwen Alexander, also known as Coach Gwen, with another motivational moment. And today's motivational moment has to do with stopping the excuses. Now, I'm all for motivating others and trying to inspire others, but sometimes you have to take what other people tell you and you have to put it into action yourself. So today, as your coach, I'm going to play the role of the one that kind of has to tell you what you need to hear today. So I'm going to give you 3 steps of what you need to do if you want to accomplish your goals, no matter what they are, that you can stop making the excuses. So step number 1 is you will never be motivated to start. I hear a lot of people saying, I've gone through it myself, where I just don't feel like starting, or I just don't feel motivated. Can I tell you something? You're never gonna feel like it. You know, if it's weight you want to lose, there's no magic like heavens are going to open up and then all of a sudden you're going to feel like you want to eat the right foods and you want to go exercise and everything's just right. It doesn't happen that way. Or maybe you're a teenager that's in high school and you're really wanting to get into this certain college, but it's hard to motivate yourself to keep doing the work you need to do with either it's homework or you have to do extracurricular stuff because you know that's what they're looking for the candidates that they want to get into their school. You know, it's going to be hard to get yourself motivated to do that extra work, especially if your friends are all out having fun, so to speak, while you're working. Or maybe you're wanting to try and get out of debt, you know, having to start a budget and working with that when you see everybody else seems to be doing what you think you want to do, but you're having to stick to this budget because you want to, you know, at least at some point get out of debt. But the thing is, to get motivated to even start, you know, you keep telling yourself, oh, I'll start later. Well, later now was probably what, 10 years ago when you started doing that? So step number 1 is you will never feel motivated to start. And step number 2 is it will be hard. It will not be easy. Nothing worth doing is easy. Think about the stuff that you've done in your past that maybe, you know, your biggest accomplishment. And usually that biggest accomplishment that you talk about all the time was because it wasn't easy. You overcame something to get to that point that you were at. When I was in high school and I knew what college I really wanted to get into and what I wanted to major in, I was a piano major. That meant that I had to audition to get into whatever schools that I wanted to. So that meant I had to sacrifice some with learning the pieces I had to learn. I mean, I spent hours practicing and then trying to apply for all kind of grants, or I would audition for scholarships here and there where I could get some money to be able to use. But the thing was that I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But lots of times I look back on that time in my life when I was like, wow, I thought that was hard. If I could overcome that, I'm sure I could overcome whatever I think right now that I keep making the excuse that if I try to do that, it's just too hard. I might as well not even start. And then tip number 3. I think this one is the most important one. There is no overnight success. Many times we look at people that are successful and we think, wow, that just happened overnight. You didn't see all the work that went into that for years. Some of them, it's been several years. You didn't hear all the no's that they received or all the that's not a good idea or do you really think that's going to work? One person that I read or listen to his interviews a lot are Tyler Perry. If you don't know who Tyler Perry is, he's a filmmaker and he has some TV shows he does right now. Well, when you listen to him tell his story about how when he was trying to get his play started or getting people to even come to him and how, you know, he would hope at least a certain number would come and only a few would. I have to admit, I probably said, well, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Because there was even a point where I think he said he was homeless to where he was having to sleep in his car. But the thing was, he didn't give up on that dream that he had. Maybe nobody else saw it, but he knew it. So when people look at him now, some of them might say, wow, he was overnight success. I mean, it's to the point where people are knocking down his door to get noticed by him or to even get to work for him. So he was able to accomplish what he thought. He didn't make any excuses about, oh, well, maybe because nobody's taking notice, I'm not supposed to be doing this. So those 3 tips that I gave you are what you need to do to stop the excuses. I have to do this in my own life too. I mean, I do that also, where I have to tell myself, if it's too hard, well, you know what? Just suck it up and do it. So my conclusion for today is, how do you stop the excuses and do this? You take one step towards what it is that you want to do. If it's you want to get out of debt, the first step is to know where your money is going. I mean, that's a big step in itself. Maybe it's a business you want to start. Why not take the time to figure out, okay, if it's this type of business, do some research on it before you just dive in, and then go from there to see what the next step's going to be. Maybe it's weight that you want to lose. Most of us know what we need to do to lose it. What we need to eat better and things like that. Well, why don't you take one step, like this week, say in the next 7 days, I'm going to eat one vegetable with my meals. I mean, I think you could do that, couldn't you? Quit trying to do it all at one time. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, what if I did tell you that, whatever it is you're wanting to accomplish, it'll take you 10 years to do that. So is that going to stop you from trying? Recently, in a Facebook group that I'm in, the moderator asked a question. And his question was, what would you tell you 5 years ago? So pretty much, what would you tell the 5 years ago what you should do? And I didn't even have to think about my answer. I already knew what my answer was. I would tell the Gwen from 5 years ago, that stuff that you're wanting to do now, get off your rear and start doing it. Quit quitting every time it gets hard. Quit quitting because you think you can't get motivated or you're never going to be successful. Because if I had taken the actions then that I have like in the last 2 years, I'd be so much further now in some of the things I wanted to accomplish. But I don't let that get me down and not try. Now I could say, well, since I'm not as far as I'd like to be, why even try? No, that's what keeps me going now, even when things do get hard and it's not easy. I'm reminded that when it's not easy and I get over those obstacles, that's going to make it even better. So take these 3 tips that I gave you to stop the excuses of why you can't get accomplished what you want to get accomplished. A difference between somebody who's a success and somebody who you might not think is a success is they kept going. They didn't stop just because it got hard. So this is Coach Gwen with today's motivational moment.